I play. Baby, won't you come my way? Come my way.
My name is J Maxwell. Welcome back to my channel. This is J Max Reacts, and I'm watching the documentary by Black Femininity TV that says Karrine Steffans' Controversial Confessions: The Untold Truth About Hip Hop's Whistleblower. Okay, shout out to Mikey for this one. Let's see what we got going. Intro, bro.
Rap music video models were typically voiceless since the beginning of rappers' use of video vixens. They were usually seen as just submissive figures and objects in videos. That was until one model gave the world a look into the not-so-glamorous life of a hip-hop video girl.
Uh-oh.
Karrine Steffans became known as the whistleblower for the secrets of popular hip-hop figures in the 2000s when she published a controversial book about her experience as a video vixen and her alleged relationships with famous rappers. But was her true motive to warn aspiring models about the exploitation and price that comes with Hollywood? Or was it really to expose the industry's most elite players, including rappers and athletes?
Yikes.
This is the untold truth about Karrine Steffans and where she is today.
But I think I found in my own life is that my sensuality plays a very big part in everything that I do. It gets me into doors. It makes people want to interview me. And and it makes it a lot, I think, easier for me. It makes it a lot easier for me because honestly, I don't have to work as hard to get what I want initially, you know?
She's vindictive. She's whack. Karrine is nuts. The lady is a tramp.
I was called everything in the book.
Of course. Because men are weak and can't deal with the truth.
Karrine Steffans was born on the island of St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands and moved to Florida.
Hold on,
when
just tell me, not all men. I don't want y'all to think all men evil there, but it's a lot of people with egos and stuff like that. She's just telling her truth, whether it was,
10 years old.
Hush.
She would later move to New York City and then settle in Phoenix, Arizona. In her memoir, Confessions of a Video Vixen, which we'll talk about later, Karrine talks openly about her childhood being filled with abuse and neglect. At 16 years old, she ran away from home and moved in with her boyfriend Reggie, who was a hustler. Her boyfriend Reggie's mother was an exotic dancer who introduced her to the world of stripping. But Reggie's mother eventually grew jealous at the fact that Karrine was making more money than her at the club, and their mother-daughter relationship fell apart. She became one of the most popular dancers in Phoenix, Arizona, and was doing private events for the NFL's Cardinals football players. At 17 years old, she met Queens, New York rapper Kool G Rap, and they started an illegal and inappropriate relationship. Their relationship became abusive and tumultuous very early on. But she had no family and nowhere else to go, so she stayed with him and obeyed his orders. Karrine became pregnant with their son and gave birth in early 1998. Through their relationship, she was introduced to the world of rap music and partying. Intrigued by the lifestyle, Karrine made it her mission to be a part of it. She left Kool G Rap for good in January 1999 and moved to LA, temporarily leaving her son in Phoenix, Arizona. When she got to LA, she met rapper and actor Ice-T through a mutual friend, and he gave her money after learning her story. She says Ice-T was the only person supporting her and her son at the time. That year, she would be romantically linked to different music artists, athletes, and industry executives. Karrine wasn't holding down a regular job, so she was romancing men for a living, and her lovers would wire thousands of dollars into her bank account every month. She was also drinking regularly and started dabbling with illegal substances. A year later, in the year 2000, she visited the set of an LL Cool J music video to meet with a Def Jam employee who she was friends with. And that's when she met music video director Hype Williams, who asked her to appear in a music video he was shooting the following weekend. 21-year-old Karrine made her debut as a video vixen in Jay-Z's Hey Poppy music video. Next came Ja Rule's Between Me and You, and probably her most recognizable appearance, Mystikal's Danger music video, where she wore those Gold Star pasties and chaps. Soon, she became one of the most popular video models, bypassing the audition process and being hired to appear in music videos for the hottest rappers at the moment, going on to work with artists like LL Cool J, Exhibit, M.O.P., and Ludacris. She was gracing the pages of urban and men's magazines, and even starred in an adult film. Karrine was doing really well for herself. She was now able to afford designer clothes, fancy cars, and a nice home in LA for her and her son. But to people, she was just like any other rap video vixen, getting to be glamorous while partying with rappers and athletes. But life in the fast lane led Karrine down a destructive path. All of this new publicity came with more partying and more lovers for Karrine. She'd soon be referred to as the name Superhead by rappers, which is a reference to a Jada Kiss song.
Yeah, I was saying that in this industry, and I'm dealing with basically African American women, that for a woman like as myself, I use my sexuality 100% all the time, every day of the year. That we're shunned or we're made to feel like we're doing something wrong because we use what we have. Basically by the women that don't use it. Or that don't know how to use it, or that wish that they could use it. There's a lot of jealousy and a lot of misunderstanding going on about the sexuality, especially of the Black woman. I think that and a lot of times it's been made to seem dirty or hoish, or you can't do this, you can't do that. I totally believe that in nature and in natural substance, and this is my body, and I feel that in doing the videos and everything, I've been completely naked on a video before, and have girls just really not understand the art and the beauty of being a naked Black woman under the sun by a pool, you know. And I believe that if we were in France or London somewhere, nobody would say anything to us. If we were in Jamaica somewhere, in the Bahamas somewhere, it would be totally acceptable. But and this is.
One day, Karrine suffered an overdose in her apartment due to her constant partying and trying to maintain her lifestyle. This event made her realize that the business of music videos and partying wasn't for her. She was determined to pursue a better lifestyle and made the decision to stray away from all of the things she did as a video girl and groupie. She appeared in a music video for the last time in 2002 as the love interest in Gerald Levert's Funny video. Karrine had no real 9-to-5 work history and was now facing homelessness. Her and her son were living in the car, and all of her famous friends and lovers abandoned her when she asked for a helping hand. She said, "My so-called famous wealthy friends that just loved me so much wouldn't lend a hand because I was no longer the good time girl," end quote. It was during this time that Karrine started journaling as a creative outlet. Then she landed a role in the 2003 F. Gary Gray directed film A Man Apart, starring Vin Diesel and Lorenz Tate.
She's vindictive. She's whack. Karrine is nuts. The lady is a tramp.
Why now, at this point in your life, snitch in a sense?
Is that what you're calling it?
That's what it is.
When a woman does it, it's snitching. But when a guy goes into a song,
Well, the so-called.
See what I'm glad you don't go with your boat, girl, but you living dangerous. Chill out.
That's just wow. Whew, I feel bad for those dudes in that book.
The whole point is she's selling the product.
This World Series, sign up for Taco Bell Rewards and get a free Doritos Locos Tacos after the first stolen base.
Or not.
Her memoir, Confessions of a Video Vixen, was published on June 28, 2005 through HarperCollins and Amistad. Confessions of a Video Vixen have bombshell revelations about her escapades and affairs with famous men that included Usher, Diddy, Vin Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal, Ja Rule, DMX, Exhibit, Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, Fred Durst, and Bobby Brown, some of whom were married at the time. There was one married rapper whose identity she protected by referring to him as Papa. The publishing company forced her to redact his name. This person would later be revealed to allegedly be rapper Method Man. The book also features a gallery of photos of her with a few of the men. All of these relationships she describes as meaningless and harmful. But Karrine says the book wasn't intended to be an expose or tell-all. Instead, her goal was to share her story about hardships she suffered as a child and the self-hatred that led her to a destructive lifestyle. She also wrote it to give aspiring models an inside look at the not-so-glamorous life of being a video vixen and put a spotlight on misogyny in hip-hop. But on the surface, people saw it as just a hip-hop expose. It had many people talking and many famous men eager to know whether or not they were mentioned in the book. That year, most of the men mentioned in Confessions declined to comment on the allegations, but one person who did speak out was singer and husband of Whitney Houston at the time, Bobby Brown. In the book, Karrine claims that Bobby behaved erratically and relied on her for financial support after Whitney kicked him out during one of their many fights. In an interview, he called her claims a complete fabrication. He said, "Karrine is a liar. I should sue her." Then he had a change of heart. He said, "Nah, I'll just leave her alone."
Okay.
End quote. When asked about the accuracy of the book, Don Davis, the vice president of the publishing house Amistad, told the New York Times, "We were very careful in the vetting process, and those things that we were uncomfortable with were left out." End quote. Karrine also revealed that the stories in the book were less shocking compared to the ones she left out. She said, "The things that I wrote are mild compared to the things that I could have said if I was trying to be nasty. Trust me, there are a lot of happy people wiping their brows right now." End quote. Karrine dedicated Confessions of a Video Vixen to her young son, and this left a lot of people disgusted and outraged because of the subject matter. Confessions of a Video Vixen became infamous. People were anxious to read the juicy details, and soon enough, it would be a New York Times bestseller. Everybody wanted to know who Karrine Steffans was. She was doing book signings at universities, back-to-back radio interviews, and magazine interviews. Next came talk show appearances. On an Oprah Winfrey episode with singer Pink titled "Smart Women on Stupid Girls," Karrine expressed her regret for sending the wrong message to young girls and warned girls aspiring to be video models about the typical treatment of models on set, like being verbally degraded, doused in alcohol, and sprayed in the face with champagne. I can't play the clip for copyright reasons, but she said, and I quote, "I want us to start paying attention to what is happening to women in this country and the role models we are projecting throughout the world. When you step onto that set, you sign over your rights as a human. You sign over your body to them. They grease you up, strip you down, sling you against a car, and you are rented. I am no longer in the business of making other people look good at my expense. And that's what I wish for the women who are in the industry. I have me. I have God. I have my son. Everything else is extra. It's taught me who I am and who I am meant to be." End quote.
I don't know, Karrine, you have angered a lot of folks and a lot of folks' wives. I think a lot of people are uncomfortable, but the things that I left out are way bigger than the things that I put in.
But you keep running from stuff. Like, I wasn't even going to get at you like that. You know what I mean? But you got problems.
You can't keep running.
Why now, at this point in your life, snitch in a sense?
Is that what you're calling it?
That's what it is.
When a woman does it, it's snitching, but when a guy goes into a soft...
Well, the so-called...
At this point, Karrine was already used to being shamed by the public about her past and her memoir. But her interview with Tyra Banks left her stunned and speechless when Tyra launched some personal attacks against her.
You just kind of pass each other. You do one of these, and you just keep going. Because I'll admit, if somebody wrote something about me in a book, I'd be pissed off. Yeah, people wrote things about me in songs. So I've been pissed off before. I've been written about in magazines, that were lies. And I've been pissed off before, too. So I know how it feels. But the difference is that the things that were written about me weren't the truth. And this is the truth. And I tell them, as I tell everyone, if your name is in this book and you see something that you don't like, then you shouldn't have done it.
So do you think that you wrote this book because of revenge, out of revenge?
No, see, revenge is something that happens when people are miserable and upset and
but were you miserable and upset?
Not when I wrote this book. Not when I wrote this book.
Well, I have to disagree with you, because when I read the book, you were saying that you're really upset that, that you were down and out, that these were the guys that you would go out with and wine and dine and spend a lot of money and hang out.
Yeah.
And then You had
But
your
I
rock
still have that
bottom.
lifestyle now.
But
The
I'm
lifestyle
saying,
hasn't changed.
but I'm talking about your rock bottom, and you hit a rock bottom where you were homeless, living in the car with your son,
Absolutely.
freezing to death, and
Absolutely.
using jackets to stay
But
warm.
all of that was my fault.
No, but
That
I'm
wasn't
saying,
their
what I'm
fault.
saying is you called these guys and said, I need some help.
Yeah.
And
And
none
they
of them
said
helped
no.
you.
None of them helped you. The same man who wrote me a $10,000 check on our first date wouldn't help me. Everything that happened to me was my fault. I did it to myself.
But then
I
why
allowed
name names?
people-
If there's no anger, why name
not?
the names?
Why not? It's just the truth. And so now that I've healed, it feels right to say, you know what? Let's not give this a pretty name anymore. Let's not say I was hanging out. Let's not say I wasn't. And my son went through a lot of this with me. When I stepped in the car, he was the only person in the car with me.
But you put your son, and you dedicated your book to the son, which means it opens it up to his school because his name is in the book.
His first name's in the book. A lot of children are named Naeem.
Yeah, but you pick him up at school, and you look just like this.
Okay,
So,
and all the
you know.
parents that know me, I'm in the PTA. I feel that people expect me to be ashamed. And all my life, I've been expected to be ashamed of who I am. And I'm not. And I think that it bothers a lot of people that I'm not ashamed. And a lot of us spend our lives being ashamed of who we are and what we've done and are afraid to share that with our children.
It doesn't bother me that you're not ashamed. I admire the fact that you're not ashamed. I think what bothers me is that I think you are a very smart woman. You're very articulate. And I think you do know exactly what you did. And you knew that naming names would be the thing that makes the press, because you were attracted to that. You're attracted to names. You're attracted to celebrity. And I think you do understand that naming these names means that, you know, this is going to get attention. Okay. And I want you to be honest and sit here and be honest with me.
Well, you know what? I just wrote the book, and my publisher made that decision. Initially, the book had no names in it, and there are a lot of things that have been taken out.
But the publisher can only make the decision.
The publisher
of what
made
you
the
agree
decision,
with.
and I agreed with it because I felt that it was the truth and it was actual. I didn't hide anything in that book.
You hid a lot.
Well, I mean, of all the things that were written, I didn't hide names and places and dates to protect people. This isn't a book about protection. It's a book about honesty and confessions, both on my side and hopefully on theirs.
How mad were you at those rappers that didn't support you?
Not mad at all, because I went back to them. I knew that if I wasn't the party girl anymore, then they wouldn't take care of me.
Karrine Steffans, thank you for being here, and thank you for being honest. You're dying inside, aren't you? I haven't been the hardest on you. I've seen your interviews, and there have been people that are super duper duper hard on you. This was actually a walk in the park.
Maybe I just wasn't in the mood for it today. Moody.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, you came on, and hopefully you're on a better step to get your life in the right direction.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back.
In an interview with book critic Cam Williams, she said, "There are a few things that tend to infuriate me. One is ignorance, because I have become accustomed to speaking to very intelligent people like Gore Vidal and Al Franken on a regular basis since dating Bill Maher. Therefore, when I'm in an interview with someone who is not intelligent but flat out ignorant, idiotic, and stupid, or just an ass, it really gives me a headache. Anyone in that position, in an interviewer's position, to do it well, should always remain objective. That's part of the job. When someone talks to me, and they're personally attacking me because there's someone in the book that she's been with because of the people that she slept with that we have in common.
Oh, wow,
when you're
okay.
making me seem like the bad one, like only I've slept around, like only I've dated famous men, then I find it necessary to say what you've done. We should just be honest." End quote. When asked about her decision to kiss and tell, she replied, "It was easy for me to write about it because I'm so far removed from that character. The person I was in the book was a character. She's not even who I am today. People who know me recognize a definite difference in my poise and in my personality because I've grown." End quote. But Karrine's career as an author was only just beginning. Her books, The Vixen Diaries, and The Vixen Manual, How to Find, Seduce, and Keep the Man You Want, all made the New York Times bestsellers list. In the books, she revealed other relationships she had with famous men. Over the next few years, she would be romantically linked to men like Mike Tyson, Jamie Foxx, Bill Maher, who she was dating at the time of the release of Confessions, Lil Wayne, who she claims impregnated her while she was married to another man. She dated actor and dancer Columbus Short, which ended in the messiest way possible. She was married to Family Matters star Darius McCrary for 2 years, But that was another tumultuous relationship that resulted in a restraining order against him. She dated power star Rutini and claimed he abandoned her when his acting career took off. And the list goes on. But it's very clear that even though she left the hip-hop model lifestyle behind, she was still repeatedly finding herself in toxic relationships and messy situations, which may be a result of the lack of love she received as a child. In 2015, Karrine published her latest memoir and final book titled Vindicated: Confessions of a Video Vixen 10 years later, to chronicle everything that had happened in her life after the release of Confessions and share her personal growth. Now a woman in her 40s, Karrine has slowly moved away from the public and isn't on social media these days. She's been telling her story to students on different college campuses and was a guest lecturer at Dillard University in New Orleans as part of the university's acknowledgement of National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. According to her website, she has retired from publishing books. Karrine has a personal development platform called The Gorgeous Girl's Guide and a performance and self-mastery coaching firm. She is now a freelance copywriter and columnist. Karrine goes by a different name now and is currently studying psychology. For the New York Times, Karrine says that the years she spent as a music video vixen taught her to value herself over money and fame. She says, "I think I have sold so much of myself for so little. I never felt pretty or cared for. With these men, I felt glamorous and powerful, and I did feel loved. I wasn't going to get better unless I said something and said it out loud," end quote. She also said, and I quote, "We know what happens to little black boys that have no dads. We've heard that. We get it. But no one is really saying that young women who are born without fathers have real serious issues, especially when their mother had no father and the mother has issues. When I talk about it, people are actually listening," end quote. Karrine says she dedicated her book to her son so that he can learn about her experiences and learn the importance of treating all women with respect. Since the infamy of Karrine Steffans and Confessions of a Video Vixen, there's been a number of copycats exposing their affairs with rappers. So after presenting you guys with all of this information, I have to ask again, was her true motive to warn aspiring models about the exploitation and price that comes with Hollywood? Or was it really just to expose the industry's most elite players, including rappers and athletes? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and like this video and subscribe to Black Femininity TV for more content.
Okay, that was another really, really good one. To answer the question at the end, I feel like she was genuine in saying that, you know, she wanted to speak her truth. But I also think, like Tyra said, she was smart in knowing how to get, you know, press around it. I don't think it was malicious intent. I think she just wanted to make sure she sold a product that was valuable versus, you know, the invaluable, or not invaluable, but the invalidated selling of her body or her image or her likeness in those videos and stuff. And the names and things that they called her were just unnecessary because it's crazy. You know, you did the stuff. You did, like she said, you know, you did it. You were there. You were a willing participant when it happened. So, you know, hate that it came out that way, but it did, you know what I mean? So this was a good one. I don't know much about her. I was super little when she was in videos. She was in a lot of the videos that I definitely probably still as an adult have not seen because I was too young and some of the content matter was just different. I didn't listen to a lot of rap growing up. I just didn't. I just did not. So I wouldn't have seen the videos anyway. But naturally I've heard that infamous nickname on top of about the documentaries and like the different books and stuff like that. You hear about that everywhere over the years. So yeah, this was a good one. This was a good one. I think another one whose story is pretty interesting. I feel like I watched 1 or 2 videos where she spoke about it. It was one of my favorite Love and Hip Hop stars, Masika. She was also a video vixen. And she speaks about what it was like to get paid to do it versus, you know, when it began to shift and turn. And hell, even Erica Mena spoke about it. You know, she fought with Kimbella about it on Love and Hip Hop. So it's a real thing. That was a real job. It was a real career. It was a real money move back in the day if you knew how to, you know, successfully navigate it. And a lot of them did. They were smart women. They weren't dumb by no stretch. They were some of the smartest women out there. They knew just how to market themselves, put themselves out there, and how to carry themselves. And if they did it right, kind of like Masika, they made money off of it, and then they flipped that money and made even more money off of it. Have y'all like looked at her stock market tips and the things that she does? She's smart. She makes some questionable decisions, similar to like Karrine and some of the other ones, but she ain't dumb, and none of them are. So yes, this was a good one. Let me know your thoughts in it below. Comment, like, subscribe. Until next time.